Galactic Council hummed with the quiet conversations of 300 different species. Blue-skinned diplomats chatted with floating gas-based life forms, while crystalline beings sparkled under the bright lights of the chamber. In the furthest corner, sitting quietly at a simple desk, was the human ambassador James Walker. Walker wore a plain black suit and had gray hair that showed his age. He didn't try to stand out, and that was exactly how humanity wanted it. The other species saw humans as primitives who had barely figured out faster-than-light travel. That's what humanity wanted them to think. Moving to the next item on today's agenda, announced the council speaker, a tall alien with silver scales. Trade routes in the Orion sector need to be. A young Abe burst through the main doors, his 4 arms waving in panic. Emergency, emergency. The aide's voice trembled as he handed a datapad to the council speaker. The speaker's inner eyelids blinked rapidly as he read the message. I must inform the council of a developing situation. The Dominion has attacked 3 human colony worlds. Murmurs filled the chamber. The Dominion was known for its aggressive expansion, but attacking newly discovered species was unusual, even for them. The colonies of New Hope, Terra Nova, and Providence have been glassed. The speaker used the common term for when a planet's surface was melted into nothing but radioactive glass. Early reports suggest minimal survivors. Walker sat very still in his chair. His face showed no emotion, but his hands gripped his desk tightly. "This is unfortunate," said the representative of the Merchants Guild, a blob-like creature that changed colors as it spoke. "But the humans are a minor species. The Dominion's actions, while regrettable, do not require council intervention." Several representatives nodded in agreement. The death of 15 million humans was sad, but the galaxy was a dangerous place. New species had to learn this lesson eventually. "Does the human representative wish to request emergency aid?" the speaker asked, almost as an afterthought. Walker stood up slowly. The simple movement somehow made the entire chamber fall silent. He walked to the center of the room, his footsteps echoing in the quiet. "No," he said softly. "We do not request aid." "Then why have you taken the speaker's position?" asked a reptilian diplomat. Walker looked around the room, making eye contact with as many representatives as he could. "I came to give you a warning." His voice remained calm and quiet, but it carried to every corner of the chamber. "A warning?" The council speaker's scales rippled with amusement. "Your species is in no position to make threats." "This is not a threat," Walker said. "This is a courtesy. You all believe you know humanity. You've seen our civilian ships, our trading posts, our colonies. You think you understand what we are." He paused, straightening his tie. "You don't. The Dominion just killed 15 million of our people. They burned our worlds. They slaughtered our children." The chamber remained silent. But now it was a different kind of silence. There was something in Walker's voice that made even the most ancient species pay attention. "Remember this day," Walker continued. "Remember that we came here first, that we tried to warn you. Remember that we chose peace until peace was no longer an option." He turned and walked toward the exit. At the door, he stopped and looked back one last time. "What you are about to witness, this is humanity when we stop pretending, and I am truly sorry for what happens next." The door closed behind him with a soft click that somehow sounded like thunder. In the silence that followed, the council representatives looked at each other nervously. Some of them would later swear that in that moment, they felt the first tremors of what was to come. The day humanity stopped hiding and showed the galaxy why Earth had survived for so long in a hostile universe. The war was about to begin. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean on Earth, Admiral Tom Stone stood in a command center that officially didn't exist. Massive screens covered the walls, showing real-time data from across human space. Red dots marked the 3 colonies that the Dominion had destroyed. "Status report," Stone said, his voice steady despite the anger in his eyes. "All hidden fleets report ready, sir," replied Captain Lisa Reed. She gestured at the largest screen, where green dots began appearing throughout human territory. The dimensional pocket generators are powering down. Our ships are emerging exactly as planned. They had waited so long for this moment. For 50 years, humanity had played the role of a weak, newly spacefaring species. They had used outdated ships for trade, presented primitive technology to the Council, and acted suitably impressed by alien achievements, all while hiding their true strength. "Show me the Titan-class vessels," Stone ordered. The screen shifted to show massive warships emerging from what looked like tiers in space itself. Each Titan was 5 kilometers long, shaped like an ancient sword, and powered by artificial stars. They had never been used in actual combat. They had never needed to be. "Sir," Captain Reed said, "Project Atlas is online." A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing a simple blue sphere. "Good morning, Admiral," Atlas said. The AI's voice was calm and clear. "I have analyzed 47 million possible combat scenarios. I can guarantee victory in 98.2% of them." Stone nodded. When humanity had first discovered the AI's potential for warfare, they had chosen to hide it along with their other advantages. Atlas could process more tactical data in a second than most species could in a year. "The Dominion fleet that attacked our colonies is still in orbit around New Hope," Reed reported. "They're celebrating their victory." "Not for long," Stone said quietly. He touched a command panel, opening a channel to all human forces. "This is Admiral Stone. For 50 years, we have hidden our strength. We have watched other species fight their wars, make their mistakes, and show their true nature. We learned who could be trusted and who could not." He paused, looking at the red dots that represented their dead colonies. The Dominion made their choice today. Now they will learn why Earth never suffered a successful invasion in all its history, why humanity survived when the swarm came, centuries before we revealed ourselves to the galaxy. "All ships, execute Operation Daybreak. Atlas has transmitted your targets. Remember our fallen colonies. Remember why we fight." Across human space, thousands of warships dropped their camouflage. Hidden shipyards emerged from dimensional pockets. Defense platforms appeared in orbit around every human world. In a single moment, humanity revealed more military might than most species could build in a century. At New Hope, the Dominion Admiral was the first to notice something strange on his sensors. "What are these readings?" he demanded. "There's some kind of spatial distortion." The space around his fleet rippled like water. 20 Titan-class warships emerged, their weapons already charged. On their hulls, ancient human words were painted in bright letters: "Si vis pacem, parabellum." "If you want peace, prepare for war. Send a message to the Dominion fleet," Stone commanded. "Text only." On every Dominion ship, the same words appeared on their screens. "You should have left us alone." The Titans opened fire. In the Galactic Council chamber, the representatives watched in stunned silence as their sensors showed the true extent of human military power. Some felt fear, others felt betrayal, but all of them finally understood what Ambassador Walker had meant. The sleeping giant had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Dominion's largest shipyard hung in space like a massive metal spider web stretching across an entire asteroid field. It had built warships for 300 years. It had never been successfully attacked. Until now. Multiple spatial ruptures detected. A Dominion officer screamed. Energy signatures everywhere. The shipyard's commander rushed to the control center, his armor clicking against the metal floor. "Impossible. No one knows the coordinates off." He never finished his sentence. 40 human warships appeared simultaneously around the shipyard, their black hulls absorbing light like holes in space. They had jumped in with perfect precision, each ship exactly where Atlas had calculated it should be. All targets mapped. Atlas reported through the human fleet's command network. "Executing Strike Plan Alpha. Time to complete mission. 3 minutes." The human ships fired as one. Their weapons weren't the plasma cannons or laser arrays that the galaxy knew. These were graviton lances, weapons that could bend space itself. Where they struck, matter simply stopped existing. In the Galactic Council chamber, the representatives watched the attack through their sensors. Many had dismissed the earlier reports about the Dominion fleet's destruction as exaggeration. Now they saw the truth. The precision, whispered the scientific advisor. Each shot hits a critical system. They're not just destroying the shipyard. They're taking it apart piece by piece. Ambassador Walker sat in his usual corner, drinking a cup of coffee. He had returned to watch. A council member turned to him in anger. "You lied to us. All these years." "No," Walker replied calmly. "We showed you exactly what we wanted you to see. You chose to believe we were primitive because it made you comfortable." On the main display, more human fleets appeared near other Dominion military installations. Atlas coordinated each strike, processing millions of variables in real time. Under its guidance, human ships moved like dancers in a deadly ballet. The Dominion tried to fight back. They launched thousands of automated drones, their best defense against normal attackers. Atlas took control of them all in seconds. Their AI security is inadequate, Atlas reported to Admiral Stone. "I have accessed their entire military network. Shall I shut down their weapons?" Stone's voice was cold. "Do it." Across Dominion space, warships suddenly went dark. Defense stations lost power. Communication networks fell silent. In 5 minutes, the most aggressive empire in the galaxy had been crippled. "Impressive," said the Merchant Guild's representative. "But surely this is just a temporary advantage. The Dominion will adapt." Walker stood up and walked to the center of the chamber again. "You still don't understand. What you're seeing isn't our full strength. It's just the first wave." He gestured at the display, showing another human fleet appearing. "We spent 50 years watching how every species fights, learning their weaknesses, planning for every possibility. Atlas has been running battle simulations since before we revealed ourselves to the galaxy. The Dominion thought they could kill millions of our people and face no consequences," Walker continued. "They were wrong. Humanity remembers the swarm war. We remember what happens when you're not ready to fight. We remember what it costs to win after you've already lost too much." A new alert flashed on the Council's screens. The Dominion's capital ships were trying to rally, gathering for a counterattack. Walker smiled sadly. "Watch carefully. This is why Earth still stands after all these centuries. This is why humanity survived when the swarm came." On the display, human ships moved into new formations. Atlas had already predicted this counterattack, had planned for it. The real demonstration of human power was about to begin. The Dominion Emperor's hands shook as he activated the emergency broadcast. His voice, once proud and commanding, now trembled with desperation. "To all allied species of the Galactic Council," he said, "the humans are not what they seem. They possess weapons that defy understanding. We request immediate military aid. We offer trading rights, territory, anything." In the council chamber, 7 representatives stood up. Their species had long waited for a chance to gain Dominion territory. Now they saw their opportunity. Ambassador Walker watched them leave. He didn't try to stop them. He simply pressed a small button on his communicator. "Admiral Stone," he said quietly, 7 species have chosen to ally with the Dominion. Implementing the Sol Protocol is now authorized." In his command center, Admiral Stone's face hardened. "Atlas, begin the Sol Protocol." "Acknowledged," the AI responded. "Activating dark matter weaponry. Warning, this technology has not been observed by other species. Revealing it will cause significant diplomatic impact." "They made their choice," Stone said. He looked at the display showing the combined fleets of the Dominion's new allies moving to attack human positions. "Show them what happens when humanity stops holding back." The first human ship to reveal the Sol Protocol was the TS Vengeance, a Titan-class vessel facing 3 enemy fleets. Its hull began to glow with strange purple light. Dark energy coursed through special channels in its structure. "What is that energy reading?" demanded an alien commander. "Nothing can generate that much power." The Vengeance fired. A beam of pure darkness cut through space. Where it passed, the laws of physics simply stopped working. 30 ships vanished instantly, their matter converted to energy that the weapon absorbed and recycled. In the council chamber, the scientific advisors were panicking. "They've weaponized dark matter." "That's impossible. The energy readings are off the scale." Walker stood calmly in the center of the chaos. "We discovered dark matter manipulation during the Swarm War," he explained. "We didn't want to use it, but you forced our hand." On the main display, more human ships activated their Sol Protocol weapons. The combined fleet of the Dominion's allies began to break apart. "You can't do this," shouted the Dominion Emperor through the emergency channel. "This violates all warfare conventions." Admiral Stone's voice replied, cold and clear. "You violated those conventions when you glassed our colonies. Now witness the consequences." A new ship appeared near the Dominion's homestar. It was smaller than the others, shaped like a needle. Its name was written in glowing letters, Starbreaker. "No," the Emperor whispered. "You wouldn't dare." The Starbreaker's tip began to glow. Dark matter tendrils reached out, touching the star's surface. Atlas calculated the exact point of intervention needed. "Final warning to all ships in the system," Atlas announced on all frequencies. "The star will go supernova in 10 minutes. Evacuate immediately." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Making a star go supernova was considered impossible, a theoretical weapon too dangerous to even research. Walker raised his voice over the panic, shouting, "Let me be clear. We don't want to use these weapons. We developed them to survive the swarm. We kept them hidden to avoid causing fear. But if you force us to use them, we will." He looked at each representative in turn. "The Dominion killed millions of our people. Their allies chose to support them. Now they will all learn why humanity survived when so many other species fell to the swarm." The display showed thousands of ships fleeing the Dominion's home system. Behind them, their star began to die. The galaxy would never forget this day. Deep in Earth's most secure archive, Ambassador Walker led a small group of council representatives through dark halls. After watching a star die, they had finally asked the right question: who were the swarm? "For centuries," Walker explained, "we kept this hidden. We thought the galaxy wasn't ready for the truth." He pressed his hand against a scanner, and massive doors slid open. The room beyond was filled with twisted alien technology. Metal that seemed to grow like living tissue. Weapons that defied normal physics. And at the center, suspended in a containment field, was a massive black creature that looked like a mix between an insect and a nightmare. "The last swarm queen," Walker said quietly. "Preserve as a reminder." The scientific advisor stepped forward, his instruments scanning rapidly. "This biology, it's impossible. The cellular structure, the neural network, it's more advanced than anything we've ever seen." "They came 300 years ago," Walker continued. "The swarm found Earth when we had barely reached our own moon. They thought we would be easy prey, just another primitive species to absorb into their hive mind." Holographic displays activated around them, showing ancient battles. Massive swarm ships darkening Earth's skies, cities in ruins, but also humans fighting back with increasing sophistication. "We lost 2 billion people in the first year," Walker said. "But we learned. We adapted. Every time they destroyed our weapons, we built better ones. When they tried to hack our computers, we created Atlas. When they used dimensional travel, we learned to track them. When their biology proved superior, we enhanced ourselves." The council members watched in silence as the holograms showed the war's progression. Humanity's weapons became more advanced with each battle. Their tactics evolved. Their technology leaped forward decades in mere months. The The swarm had consumed thousands of species before us, Walker explained. Each victory made them stronger. They absorbed the knowledge and biology of every race they defeated, but they had never encountered humans before. The display showed the final battle. Earth's first dark matter weapons tearing through swarm defenses. The first Titan-class ships emerging from hidden shipyards. Atlas coordinating a planetary defense grid that turned Earth's entire moon into a weapon. "We didn't just fight them," one of the council members whispered in realization. "You destroyed them completely. That's why there's no record of them in our histories." Walker nodded. "After Earth was secure, we hunted down every last swarm ship, hive, and outpost in the galaxy. We couldn't risk them surviving to threaten anyone else. Then we hid the truth and waited, watching to see what kind of galaxy we have found ourselves in." In orbit above them, Admiral Stone received a priority message from Atlas. "Sir, the Dominion's remaining allies are gathering their forces. 80% of their total military strength. They plan to attack Earth directly." Stone smiled grimly. "They still don't understand. Atlas, show them the defense grid." Across Earth's solar system, thousands of hidden satellites and defense platforms emerged from dimensional pockets. Weapon systems that had been designed to fight the swarm activated for the first time in centuries. Ambassador Walker, Atlas communicated to the archive chamber. "The enemy fleet approaches. Shall I show them why Earth was the swarm's last mistake?" Walker looked at the preserved swarm queen, then at the stunned council representatives. "Humanity chose peace after the swarm war because we had seen enough death. We hid our strength because we wanted to give the galaxy a chance for true cooperation." His eyes hardened. "But we never forgot how to fight." The defense grid began to power up. The combined fleet of the Dominion and its allies emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. 10,000 ships strong, it was the largest assault force assembled in galactic history. From his flagship, the Dominion Emperor watched Earth's blue sphere growing larger on his view screen. See, just a fragile planet. No visible defenses. No massive fleet protecting it. The humans have overextended themselves. Admiral Stone stood in Earth's orbital command center, watching the enemy fleet approach. "Atlas, are they in position?" "Confirmed," the eye replied. "Enemy fleet is now within the defense grid's range. They appear to be following the exact attack pattern I predicted. Probability of success, 99.9%. Stone nodded. "Show them what they're really attacking." Across the solar system, space itself seemed to ripple. Thousands of satellites and defense platforms shed their cloaking fields. Massive weapon arrays emerged from dimensional pockets around every planet and major moon. But the biggest surprise was Earth's moon. The lunar surface began to crack and shift. Massive sections of the surface slid apart, revealing the truth. The entire moon had been converted into a weapon platform. What the galaxy had thought was a natural satellite was actually humanity's ultimate defense system. In the council chamber, the representatives watched in stunned silence. "That's why they never built orbital rings," one whispered. "That's why they kept using primitive space elevators. They didn't want anyone looking too closely at their orbital infrastructure." On the Dominion flagship, alarms blared as sensors overloaded. "Impossible," the Emperor shouted. "The energy readings. The whole system is." "Last chance," Admiral Stone's voice came through on all channels. "Retreat now or face the consequences. Earth has not fallen to any enemy in 300 years. It will not fall today." The Emperor straightened his spine. "We will not be intimidated. All ships, attack pattern Omega. Fire everything." The Dominion fleet launched their assault. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward Earth in their thousands. Not one made it halfway. The defense grid activated. A web of energy fields caught and absorbed every attack. Atlas processed the data instantly, calculating optimal counterstrikes. Then the moon, humanity's hidden fortress, opened fire. Beams of concentrated dark matter shot out from lunar craters. Each beam split into hundreds of smaller streams, targeting individual ships with perfect precision. The weapons that had once destroyed the swarm now proved equally effective against the galaxy's most advanced fleet. "Sir," a Dominion officer reported, voice shaking, "we've lost 30% of our ships in the first volley alone. Our weapons have no effect. Their defenses air." "Impossible," the Emperor whispered. "We hit their colonies so easily. How could they have this much power?" In the orbital command center, Stone watched the battle with cold eyes. "The swarm taught us something important," he said over the channel. "Never leave your heart undefended. Those colonies you attacked, they were our children, but not our only defense. Earth is humanity's cradle, and we learned to protect it very, very well." The moon fired again. This time, thousands of smaller platforms added their power to its attack. The combined fleet began to break apart under the assault. "This is what they've been hiding," a council member realized. "Not just advanced weapons or powerful ships. They turned their entire solar system into a fortress." The Emperor's flagship tried to turn away, to retreat. Too late. "Atlas," Stone commanded, "initiate the last line protocol." The AI's voice seemed to hold a note of satisfaction. "With pleasure, sir." Earth's greatest defense system prepared to fire one last time. 3 days after the Battle of Earth, the Galactic Council gathered for an emergency session. The chamber was eerily quiet as representatives viewed the aftermath footage. The Dominion's once mighty fleet was now nothing but debris floating in space. Of the 10,000 ships that had attacked Earth, only 57 had survived. Those that surrendered immediately after the last line protocol activated. Ambassador Walker stood at the center of the chamber, his posture relaxed but his eyes tired. "The Dominion Emperor has surrendered unconditionally," he announced. "Their allies have withdrawn all military support and are requesting peace talks." The council speaker's scales had lost their shine. "The terms of surrender?" "Simple ones," Walker replied. "All parties involved in the attack on our colonies will pay reparations to the survivors. A demilitarized zone will be established around human space, and most importantly," he paused, looking around the chamber, "the Galactic Council will be reorganized." Murmurs of protest rose, but quickly died as the main display showed Earth's defense grid still active, the moon's weapon systems still ready. "You have to understand," Walker continued, his voice gentler now. "We hoped for better. When we first reached the stars, after defeating the swarm, we could have conquered the galaxy. Our technology, our weapons, our tactical eye. We were centuries ahead of everyone." He walked slowly around the chamber, making eye contact with each representative. "Instead, we chose peace. We hid our strength. We watched and waited, hoping to find allies rather than subjects. We wanted to believe that different species could work together, build together, grow together." Admiral Stone's hologram appeared beside Walker. "We remember the cost of the Swarm War," he added. 2 billion dead. Entire cities destroyed. We didn't want anyone else to experience that kind of loss. "But," Walker continued, "the current council system is broken. You ignored the destruction of our colonies because we seemed weak. You valued political convenience over justice. This cannot continue." The new terms appeared on everyone's screens. The council would be reformed with new checks and balances. Military action against developing species would be forbidden. Technology sharing would be encouraged, but weapons development would be monitored. "You're establishing a peace through strength," the scientific advisor observed. "No," Walker corrected. "We're establishing peace through understanding. Humanity will share some of our technology, medical advances, clean energy, terraforming techniques, things that help rather than harm. But we'll also maintain our defenses to ensure that what happened to our colonies never happens to anyone else." Atlas's voice filled the chamber. "The probability of lasting peace under the new system is 89.4%, significantly higher than the previous 31.2%. The council voted. The terms were accepted unanimously. Later, as the chamber emptied, the council speaker approached Walker privately. "You could have conquered us all," he said. "Why didn't you?" Walker smiled sadly. "Because that's not who we are. Humanity is capable of terrible violence. We proved that against the swarm, and again these past few days. But it's not what we want. Every weapon we built, every defense we created, was to protect life, not end it." He looked out at the stars through the chamber's massive window. "We chose peace today, just as we did after the swarm war. But remember," his eyes hardened for a moment, "we're very, very good at war. Let's hope we never have to prove that again." The speaker nodded slowly, finally understanding. Humanity wasn't just powerful. They were powerful enough to choose peace, even when war would have been easier, and that perhaps was the most terrifying thing of all.